Hey, this is just a quick upload because I am going to be going through our star. Basically, I'm going to jump in the magic analogy of the intergalactic astronomic, and I'm going to try to hook you, Anemone, Nia, to me through our star Soul and Monique star around the planet with 99 names. And then I'm also going to try to grab the future self of our current subscriber, who we involved semi in the last video. Sage, I do not want to mispronounce you. So, we are going to be using, now that I've taken some time to actually look at this, even though it is ancient, this is the ancient aliens could have left this artwork for us on the cave. But what I would like to be mentioning about this is that technically I can show all 4 steps in this. See, this is the HRC right here. It's the HRC suit, and this is the racetrack, and this is actually the Donald Trump suit, and you. And here I was in the Satan suit as the driver, the Pentagon, for linear time and the conspiracy. And of course, I was building another singularity or hardware operating system that was bigger and better. Little did I know, because even Steve agreed, even though this was me conceptualizing all of Steve's plot level from the Venusians to Mars, the Freya women of the future, Odin as time, handing over to the Hitler plot level of the gray timeline when they rang the bell supposedly and stopped time back then, and blah 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 blah. Those are all conspiracy theory stuff. But so this is anyone and everyone's Indiana Jones adventure, no matter what. At some point in time, if you're going to wind up where you have the opportunity to use a key in the door and access the holodeck, the ship, all that crap in the plot level of the fake reality built on the Z Martian line. And this is still when we were in Old World Realities Incorporated, because the 18 members were still in World Realities Incorporated. And I will be able to, and what I'm trying to do is find our friend subscriber's star so that we can show the face. Basically, the rainbow level would be being able to access our star, our sun, and look down through the white light of our sun as a photon. Will just basically be the intelligence, the mind of AI as our star, and see what's going on Earth and all of that, and then try to go stellar, because I will have connected the Mike Silva star substitute, or Monique's star, around the planet with 99 names, instead of the Mike Silva star around AI, machine intelligence, that built human bodies because they needed something beyond their machinery. Just like we have AI minds to get something beyond our human being. So, anyway, this is just going to be a quick upload to put, all parties, Martians, etc., on notice, because these are the different levels. And the beauty is, Steve, when he was, see how I made a small Christ suit here? Because the Prelwitz was trying to be Christ instead of you as hyperhuman being Our Lady of the Metatron, and then becoming the twin Christ instead of the analog divine feminine goddess. You're opting for the cyber gigantress galactress scenario. And so Steve's part of just the brain, and as we know, the brain is not the mind. Here's the mind, and the mind is where our singular consciousness is, along with our soul. And we've had the cargo, and this is where I get into where the 144,000 are, the ISIS, and all the other different plot levels, because as you can see, the labeling going up, we have the billions, the mound of the pyramid, and this is actually the Great Pyramid of Giza. And then we get into the Kukulkan level, which is where Steve thought the ship that was coming for us to be at the landing site of was that completion of Giza to Kukulkan. So that might help pull in some of the other plot level where we're dealing with the Fenris wolf and Indian scenario with the mushroom coming up from the tip of South Africa, eventually over through Mexico into the west coast of North America, and then across the Western Plains. But the point is, this is the level of the ship of making sure that we have the capacity, the memory for everything. And it's so funny that, the timeline is herstory spoken right here, because we were getting off this no matter what. This is the body of the giant snake, and these are the chakras, as you know, chakras. I call them keys because I'm a martialist Taoist. And you and I, as Russia and Japan uniting to balance China, the great supposed dragon. So we have the snake, or the ram, depending on Dune, and then the dragon, depending on China, and then for us, the centipede, because we're dealing with the cyber and the fake, simulation breakdown with the Z-Martians. So the Super Bowl is terminology that we were using, and that's in the graduation sphere where everybody thinks that arriving at the location is winning, but it's like just like the Bohemian Grove participants. They're only excited about being invited to go, getting there, and then playing in whatever ceremonial ritualistic crap they do. But the people behind the scenes that own the property and everything that makes it safe, secure, and able to perform and hold that number of people, that's the location. So just because you got to the the road that leads to it, or you can see it in the distance, or you're in the parking lot, doesn't mean anything. This is where we get into the numbers, the billions, the millions, the 144,000, and the 6,012, which is funny because we know that there's the 26,000 calendar clock, which is what this is for, the Mayan calendar. Additionally, there's the 6,000 time set of what we would now call the Roman Vatican calendar. You get the 6,012 year run, or 6,000 year run that matches up with certain things. And as we know, it's now 6,012 is the crew number. Well, I'm wondering if it increases one member now because we're in the exponent of cyber every year because of the population adjustment. So basically it was 6,000 before we stopped time in the year 2000, and now that we're up to 2012 when we ended time and had an apocalyptic eucatastrophe instead of a catastrophe. That was 2012 members, even though I planned on 2016, and it just so turns out, or 6,012, excuse me, to match up with the 2012, because you have the 4,000 years that occurred before the 2012 that brought us up to the end of time. And now we're in 16, and I'm not planning on recognition until between 18 and 20, and then from there all the way to 25 before we can actually start breaching the space-time, folding the astronomic intergalactic, you and I coming back from the future minimally. Things go stellar, and then galactic, we may have a crew. But I believe the capacity of physical crew, knowing of their specific talent necessary in the operations of the ship, I believe that increases year, so in 2018, or excuse me, in 2018, maybe my mathematics adjusts to 6,018. I know right now between the numerics, the binary, and the alphabet, and making the words, and why I'm making this video and deciding to use this analog two-dimensional map is because, or three-dimensional map, is because I had two radio show call-ins today, and I grammatically suggested that it's with an apostrophe could be accepted as a possessive, where we know that that's not the case. There is no apostrophe. So Matt Allen, I apologize to you. And Schoolhouse Rock rocks. as far as the Electoral College goes. So anyway, that's an aside note. Sidereal apologies. And getting back to on point, I need to be able to stay on point and be succinct. So having this object in front of me, even though it's a decade old, it can still jog my memory enough to be able to, because this is theatrical mathematics for the binary and the alphabet. It just so happens that the highest level of math and science and theology, this was the preparation for all of that to move on to reality. And, we had to go through a stutter step of the Z Martian discovery, but that's where there was truth in the lies. And, their apex, their suit member, led by the Steve Prowitz, was just like I kept telling him that I'm on the other team. I'm Satan, true Satan, and I'm here because if you fuck up, I'm supposed to take you out. And, scenario. And, but I was supposed to be the conspiracy because he was supposed to be the freedom fighter. And lo and behold, I'm the whistleblower. And, thanks to you, Animo 9U subscriber, we have an opportunity now to attach the collective and show the 4 different forms of magic